Wonderful. We are live. We are live. We are live. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. And here is Sher joining us. Most wonderful. Most wonderful. Takes a second to show up in group, Bina, but we are live. We are live. It hasn't shown in group yet, and I want to make sure to pin it to feature, pin it to get it visible. That's important. Yeah, I forgot to do that last time and to share it to my page. So, hello, Sher. Hello, Sher. How are you? How are you? Jessica as well. I'm not hearing you, Sher. You muted. You muted.
Oh, I didn't know if you heard me. Give me just a moment. I'll be right with you. Okay.
Okay.
Good morning.
Jessica is here. Jessica is here. Jessica is here. I am thrilled that you are here, Jessica. I am thrilled. I am thrilled. This is very cool. I'm still jazzed from earlier. I'm still jazzed. Well, Jessica, where'd you go? I'm not hearing you, Jessica. Jessica, you there? Well, Jessica dropped again. All right. Yeah, no problem. We'll get going in a second here. Just Sherman hopefully is going to come. I'm not seeing this in group, and I don't know why. This is strange. I saw the live video, yeah, but why is it not showing in the group? All right, well, share in group, okay. There's Jessica again. No, I'm just gonna share
All right.
that.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I'm very excited about earlier. I'm still
Yeah.
buzzing with that too. So
Yeah, me too. I'm still jazzed and energized from it. Yeah.
yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's just too cool. It's just was too cool. So, Jessica, while I get all the things for the live set up, because I got to post it and share it, and everything. So, yeah. Tell Sher a little bit about this morning. Yeah.
Okay, so we had discussed the first part, which was, what is my intent? And also I went back with my repeat backs and takeaways and my definition of selfishness versus also the definition of selfishness via the dictionary. And it actually okay, that's one of the words I have to stop using is the word actually. So we caught that one. Still caught it, and then I caught on.
Yeah.
So my definition, I don't know if you want me to go through that, with reading it all and stuff like that, but what my definition now is, what I've learned, what my definition now is that I'm not being selfish in a bad way when I'm working on myself and taking care of me.
Yeah.
It's really a good way. I associated it with bad because of my past, and I went from understanding it to associating it with bad, but now associating it with good. The other thing too is I learned that my true intent is not to gain self-confidence, but in reality, it's my moreness that I'm having a hard time accepting, acknowledging, trusting. That's the biggest main point, is that's what I'm working on is accepting that. I mean, there's more to me than just the surface. Confidence was the
Yes.
surface part.
Yes.
I definitely do have, I gotta remember the word here. Humble. Oh yeah, I didn't even have to look it up. It just came to me. Okay, so I do have definite humble confidence.
Yes.
I
Yes.
need to accept that there's more to that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So learning that
Yes.
acceptance and trusting myself and my confidence and trusting that there's more to this
Yeah.
this physical being of me.
Yes. This is huge. This is huge. Huge.
It is very huge because I always associated confidence with egotistical.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 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 All right. So something is different. Facebook has changed things just for everybody listening. Bina, if you would type that there, please. Actually, if you could actually make a post for me in group to say that to join us, you have to click on the event. I can't share it as a live video in the group for whatever reason. I don't know why, unless it's showing for you in group, and I can't see it there. I have to click on the actual event link and then I see the video. So I just shared that event link there, but you have to click on it and then see it. I don't know. Is it showing for you guys in group? Very strange.
I want to add really quick, so
Oh, go ahead.
about what we came up with is, or what I came up with is that my anxiety comes from not thinking things through to the end.
Say that again, please.
My confidence comes from not thinking things through to the end. That's where my confidence, or my anxiety, I mean, my anxiety
Yeah.
comes from not thinking things through to the end.
There you go. Yes, yes, exactly. Exactly. And that is ridiculously powerful to realize that this anxiety and worry, all it comes from, I just wasn't thinking it through to the end, not going all the way. This is very powerful, spinning in loops and just starting and then, you're finishing, you think there's not the answer, so you don't go any further and so on and so forth, right? So beliefs getting in the way. This is a huge, massive, great big shift. Yes.
Yes, it was. There's a lot of great big shifts in just knowing where everything is actually stemming from, or where
Yes.
everything is stemming from.
Yes. Yes. And that moreness and goodness can cause problems. That was a big awareness, no?
Yes, it did. It was very big awareness. It does cause, or can cause problems, yes.
Yeah. It's a massive, big deal. Massive, big deal. Massive, big deal. Oh. All right. Wonderful. Sure.
Yes, good morning.
Just, I don't know, just saying hello, where you at, anything to share, add to that? I don't know, just maybe like
Well,
me, just enjoy it and
Yeah,
delight
well,
in it.
first off, yes, I did enjoy it greatly. And she shared a little bit of that with me. I think it was yesterday or the day before. She's pretty excited about it. But here's what I wanted to share, which was I caught that she has this awareness now of where her anxiety stems from. I feel anyways, we have been taught to use the word trigger. As survivors, that's one of the first words that counselors and professionals, and it seems to be this major buzzword of trigger. When I actually just dissected a trigger, and I've done that before, and then so you help me re-dissect it again, go even deeper with it. To me, my understanding, I came to it is a trigger is just, it's an association. It's what I believe anyways, it's what we're associating the present, what's happening in the present, and we're associating it back to that meaning that we attached to that traumatic event in the past, what we made it to believe about ourselves, what we carried forward. And those beliefs just, I guess over time for me, they just kind of sat and pulled and pulled and pulled, pulling down my boundaries, my expectations of myself and of others, always projecting. I mean, it was just a mess. There's all kinds of things. So for her to actually come up and with the understanding that not thinking through what was happening in the moment and instead just reacting, I think that's a pretty big, really big awareness, a part of self-awareness. And that's not something that she's ever really been able to connect with. So.
Yeah, we had lots of magical stuff today. A lot of, wow, ahas, yes, cool, awareness. No, it just was wonderful. I so enjoyed, our session. It was really a joy and a thrill. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was very cool, very cool. I just want to celebrate that and emphasize it, that we had magical time there. And also, since we didn't get to, we got on so much stuff that we got involved in, I'm keen for you, Jessica, to share your takeaway there of, of where we started. The next slide there after the start. I'll share screen in a moment. Basically, where we start on facing the awful truth. Yes.
Yes, we did touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. So, okay. We were still on there is a problem, and but we'll skip that a little bit, and then. Okay. Well, let me ask you this, because it's the first task and exercise there. Let me share screen here. Bina, just let me check again. Bina, this is showing in group, right? Because I can't see it there in group. For whatever, I keep refreshing and I don't see it. It's really weird. So just, I mean, I can see where you made the comments before. So Bina, just, saying comments there that if it's,
I wanted to just say on where they can find it in group. When I opened up the group, there was actually a little banner down there in the corner, and it just says videos from this event. And if you click on that, then it opens it up on your screen.
They've changed it. It's not showing as a post now. So
right.
Yeah, or you may have to click on the event itself that's pinned, in featured. I shared that post. Click on we're just advertising the event, but I think if you actually click on it, it will take you to the live video. It's very strange. They made a whole bunch of changes and they messed things up. So okay, so I asked Bina to pin it or to mark it as featured. Set as featured. You have to click on the 3 little dots up the top there, Bina, and then set it as featured. And then we'll see what happens from that. But all right, so that's just a little strangeness for people new to this. It's a little weird. I don't know why it's doing that, but all right. So please, Jessica, if you would share on that, the first task and exercises where it says, please share with us what your responsibilities are to yourself in the context of anxiety and worry and this program. And is CJ with us? Is he listening? Is he attending?
Yes, he's here.
All right.
He's listening.
Brilliant.
I wanted him to share his too. So
okay. All right. So we'll hear what Jessica says, and then we'll get to CJ. Yes, I definitely want to hear CJ as well. So
my responsibilities to myself when it comes to anxiety as well as worry is to think it through,
end.
Yep, think it through to the end. And that is the biggest thing for me is making sure that I do think that through to the end. So I'm not creating, because that's exactly what I was doing. I was creating unnecessary anxiety and worry for myself by not thinking it through the end to the end. I allowed it to create this big, how when you see on a piece of paper, there's a bunch of just scribbles and circles and stuff like that. That's exactly what it created, a web of mess. And so that is my responsibility to myself in that aspect is to just remember, think it through to the end. It's
Yeah.
not as bad as I think it is.
Never. It's never as bad as we think it is, right?
No, it's never as bad as we think it is. In reality, the outcome is easy to get to.
Say that
There's
again,
no
please.
In reality, the outcome is easy to get to. There's no need to overcomplicate it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the big point with the awful truth. The awful truth is an illusion. It's a fiction. It's not really awful. We just believe it's awful. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it stays awful until we think it through to the end. That's how we realize, I was just believing it to be awful. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the magic. That's the magic tool, thinking things through to the end. Yes, it's a powerful tool because that automatically brings perspective shifting. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it becomes an intention, not an actual intent.
Say that again.
It becomes an intention, not an actual intent.
I'm laughing because I know
Right.
what you
It
mean.
goes in reverse. It goes in reverse.
Yes.
Yes.
You can say that my intent is to do X, Y, and Z, but without the appropriate action, it's only an intention.
Yeah, exactly. And an intention is something which, just for those of us who don't know the difference, there's a big difference between intention and intent. And intention is before you've actually done anything. It's basically just a wish, a hope. It doesn't really mean anything, right? It's just a wish and a hope. But when you transform it into an intent is an action. It's a commitment. It's like, I'm definitely doing this. I'm in process of doing it. And an intent is more than that too, because with an intent, you engage the universe to assist you in getting done what you're doing. But an intent is action. It's doing. You're putting energy into what you're doing, even if you don't know exactly how, right? So an intent is a very, very powerful and magical thing. Now, we'll get into intent later on as we go through things. It's a big, huge topic. It's very powerful magic. But it's important to understand there's a very big difference between an intent and an intention. And if you're not sure, just figure it out for yourself. Go through it, work it out, think it through to the end, and you'll see the differences, right? And you'll see how people use these words, and it's built into the language, actually, the difference. All right, brilliant. CJ, please share for us on this, because yes, you did email me and I responded. So I'm assuming you've got more on this now. Yes, CJ?
Please just speak. It's okay. You're not on camera. It's okay. Go ahead.
We don't care what you look like. It doesn't matter.
No, he's saying no.
Oh, okay. I mean, one thing I know for sure, CJ, is you can't look worse than me. So
Yep.
it's only an upside. All right. So you know what you can do, CJ? If you don't want to, talk about it, that's fine. I'm assuming you wrote some stuff out. Post it as a comment in underneath the video in group.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And it's right in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No worries. Again, there's no pressure here. If you want to say, you say. If you don't, you don't. It's not a problem. We don't care.
There you go.
It's all this. The ability to be awkward and uncomfortable and not care is an incredible power.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are you talking about? Well, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, think about it. The ability to be awkward and uncomfortable and not care. Very, very powerful. Yeah. So this is one of the things that we really want to make an effort to be able to do. And that's part of sharing the repeatbacks and the takeaways. This is exactly what is the opportunity to practice, capital P practice, being awkward and uncomfortable, because they don't always go smoothly. And even though you've got it written out, when you actually say them and read them, it's like, oh, well, what was I thinking here? Yeah, right? And this is very powerful. So look at Jessica when you came on, right? I just asked you to share a takeaway from our session earlier, right? And it didn't always come out smoothly, but so what? Did it matter? Like CJ, was Jessica's takeaway earlier? Was this like, did it really matter that it didn't come out 100% smooth? No, it was wonderful to listen to. It was very powerful. It was very potent. There was a lot of magic in there. We don't care how the magic is delivered. Yeah. It's like I get a package from Amazon and it says magic included and it's got ugly wrapping. Am I going to care? No, magic is magic. You don't care how it's wrapped. It makes no difference. Yeah. So, the opportunity to make that effort, to practice, to get it out, to struggle, to stumble a bit, this is a wonderful opportunity. Yes. And the more you do it, the more you stop caring. And of course, you build your confidence as a result, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Still wonderful. Still wonderful. Still wonderful. All right. So in terms of those responsibilities. All right. Also, please share what are your responsibilities. Sorry. Also, please share what your responsibilities are towards others, such as your family, loved one, co-workers, etc., when it comes to remedying your anxiety and worry. Let's ask Sher on this one. Then we'll go to Jessica and maybe we'll get CJ.
Oof. This one, I have, I got to make sure I'm not muted. Okay, there we go. I have taken too much responsibility towards others and not enough towards myself. Pretty much most of my life. My responsibility towards others then would be to take care of me first. That's how I'm taking it, because I've avoided me most of my life. I mean, yes, I live with me, but I have avoided me. I've avoided my feelings, my thoughts, my beliefs.
Very
I've unconsciously paid attention to them, which came out in my actions. But, so when it came to understanding the idea of replacement, of associations, of stepping away from triggers, when I came to that realization that no one was going to do this for me, no one was going to rescue me, no one was going to save me, no one's going to take care of me, that I had to be responsible for me. That was probably my biggest wake up. Jessica pointed out to me that, and for people who don't know, Jessica's my daughter, but she pointed out to me that as children, I was so busy taking care of everybody else that I never paid attention to me. I was busy living in illness. They didn't know it. I didn't know it. But it really changed how life went. So being aware of taking care of me, that helps alleviate a whole lot of anxiety. I don't know how to express that.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
that's my responsibility towards others, is taking care of Sherry.
Yes. 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 Actually, I want to just make a segue jump here, kind of a little bit. Talking about responsibility, I did promise Sherman that I would read a poem. And I have not forgotten, Sherman. It's up here, and it's a very excellent place to share this poem. So it is connected, but it also jumps. So this is very cool to get our brains to see connections that aren't necessarily obvious. Yes?
Nice.
Yes. Yes. It's a very powerful thing. Where did I open this now? Let me see. All right, I'm hearing something in the background there, so whatever it is.
It's probably mine. Let me mute my, let me go to my auto settings.
All right, okay, no worries, no worries. So I'm going to read this poem. I'm going to screen share and then read it. So just to say that it's not directly connected, but it is connected also, right? Because especially now, it's so cool. It came up, and I kind of forget. Sherman can't talk today because he's doing his stuff. He's just listening in. But I don't remember what prompted it, Sherman. I mean, maybe if you can type, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. We can. It doesn't matter what prompted it, but something prompted it. But also, it ties very much into Sher and and Jessica, and also CJ in a roundabout way. Okay, you know, CJ, you'll just have to change the gender a little bit, but that's not a big deal. So you'll see. Yeah, it's, you know, not an issue, but you'll see how it all fits in together. I'm just prefacing it a little bit to say we've got to jump our minds a little bit here, which is cool. All right. So here we go. This is the poem, and the poem is called "Lovable but Not Likable." I am new woman, older than river. I am new woman. I am new woman, enough to make you quiver. I am new woman, lovable but not likable. New inception, new woman. I am tomes in painted nails, lips threading opus, hands holding universe. I am new woman. Feet renounce fetter, expectations reconsider. I am new woman. Too naive to cast magic, too aloof to love trickery. I am new woman. Candor, maverick, rebel, I am. Lovable, but not likable, I am. I am new woman, not a missing rib. Drumming heart, I am. New woman, I am soul melody. I am new woman, I am. Lovable, but not likable, I am.
That actually resonates with me more this time than it did the first time I heard it.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Yes. Because you are new woman. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And the point of this poem, as Jessica is coming to understand, that I am lovable. Is everybody going to like me? No, not necessarily. And if you don't, well, too bad. That's on you. You know, me in my moreness, in my claiming of myself. Well, if you don't like it, that's just too bad, because some people are uncomfortable with moreness. They feel it shows them up and so on and so forth, right? They get uncomfortable, jealous, whatnot. Not a nonsense involved with being yourself, right? So this is a massively potent, powerful point. And this is a magic brought to us by Magical Bina, by the way. Bina is the author of this poem. Yeah. So it's just a magical point that Venus making, this lovable but not likable, to accept this. Now, yes, you can, of course, some are going to see you as lovable and likable, but to realize that in claiming this smallness, you are at least in our context of the world today, unfortunately, there's going to be this element of not likable. But this poem is saying, you know, too bad. I don't care. I am who I am. I am more. You know, I'm a soul melody. I'm a drumming heart. All these other wonderful things. Yeah. And this is very important. If you don't like it, that's on you, because I'm lovable. Yes.
Yes.
Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Now, doesn't mean you're going to make an effort to be not likable. No, you're not trying to not be likable. That's just a reality that you
But I
are
will
happy.
refuse to change who I am just so I can be liked by you.
Exactly. And that was the problem in all the ages, and Venus identifying this as, yes, it's people in general, but also particularly thing for women, right? They were trying to be likable, and in this likable, they actually didn't succeed in being either likable or lovable. And also in being likable, they may have succeeded, but at what cost, at what price, at what compromise?
Exactly.
Massive compromise in order to be likable. And that's the key point here, right? She's shifting to say, no, we have to go further. I am lovable. I don't have to make myself lovable. I am lovable, inherently so. I am Lou. CJ?
Oh my goodness. You just lit his face up. Yeah, his face is just now all kinds of bright.
I am Lou.
That is a permanent lifetime statement.
Huge stuff. So Lou, for those who don't know, is Cher and CJ's magical house companion with 4 legs and a broken tail.
Yes.
A magical being. Yes.
Yes, she is.
Very magical being. Yes. Now, so is CJ. Yeah, you are
Yes.
Lou. Lou is you. You are a Lou. Yes, there are many Lou's in the world. CJ is one of them. Yes, you're a Lou. You're a Lou. Right? It's a new term. You know, you are
Yes.
a Lou. We've added it to our dictionary of power. Lou means more. Yes. So this is too magical. Too magical. So this poem is exactly about that. Yes. You know, and this is it. We're not going to be concerned, and we're not going to compromise ourselves by trying to be likable. If you like me, great, you know, but I'm lovable. If you don't like me, that's on you. I'm not going to make an effort to make myself likable and compromise myself simply to make you comfortable because you're full of nonsense, not me. Right? This is the problem, that this you know, compromise in order to appease people's crappiness, really. Right? Jessica, sure, in your past histories, yes, you tried to make yourselves likable for BMNs, for, you know, bullshit manipulator narcissists. Yes, that's what BMN stands for. And what was the result? Just more abuse.
Lost ourselves. Yeah, we lost ourselves in the meantime too.
Exactly. And this claiming to say lovable but not likable, I am. Right? Again, it's not by implication. Somebody could say, yeah, but why would you want to not be likable? It's not saying. It's simply stating the reality. It's not saying it is a desire or a goal or an intent. It's just saying this is the consequence of the reality. And it's a very powerful acknowledgement to be at peace and comfortable with not being likable. Yes. Or liked by everybody. Now, you of course are actually likable for those who know you, but it's, you know, it's not being liked really that the deeper point is. So it's a very subtle, very nuanced poem, which is why I love it. You know, it really makes you think, and you can't just accept it on face value, because then you're going to miss the nuance, the subtlety of this poem. A very cool poem, very, very magical poem. I'm going to make a video of it and read it, and we'll do stuff. So yeah, we've done some like this before with Bina's poems. Bina is truly a most marvelous, wonderful poet. So yeah, very cool, Bina. Thank you for letting us share this. It's very, very cool. Very cool. So sure, anything touched there for you as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Probably not in the way intended. I really loved what I heard. I will admit I'm uncomfortable about what I'm feeling.
Wonderful. Again, the poem is Bina writing to Bina. It's not meant for, it's no intent for how you hear it. This is just,
Right.
you know, I've just happened to be sharing it, but, you know, it wasn't written with an intent for anybody else.
Right,
It's
right.
writing
No,
to Bina.
but you know, I'm what I thought about was just that idea of accepting, acknowledging and accepting myself as, first off, a being, a woman. I see myself as human. I don't like
Yes.
attaching woman to
Yes.
my definition.
Yes.
Just primarily based on the fact that there comes with so many judgments and expectations and all the things that I don't see myself as being.
Yes.
Can I interrupt really quick?
Please. Yeah.
So sorry, but Syl had asked me to also talk to you as Cher. So Cher, I want to
Wonderful.
it's weird calling her.
No,
by
but
her
it's
name.
great. It's great. You know, I was saying, sure, that, you know, just for Jessica to own herself, you know, to call you sure. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's a cool point. So yeah. So
Yes.
again, see, but I love the application there. Is because you stepped up in order to kind of address your awkwardness, right? You know, instead of saying mom, you're saying sure. It's very cool, very powerful. Very
So Cher, I had heard the word human. Human is too versatile, I guess, too vague. You are a person. That's more personal. Instead of human, I am person. I am a person.
A being. A being.
Yes, and that is claiming more ownership of yourself and not ownership of the world.
So now we come to a really cool point here in terms of understanding, like I was saying to you, right? What we are dealing about is a new language, the language of conceptuality. And when we realize that, you know, how we hear words, like what sure means by human might not be what I mean by human or you, right? Maybe sure, I'm assuming sure, like, you know, when you say human, you mean being, you mean person, likely. Yes, I'm assuming sure. Yes. Yeah. So
Yes,
again,
yeah.
when we listen to what people mean, what they mean, rather than what we hear according to our understanding of the words. So if we have that flexibility with words and we listen to meaning, intent, rather than the word. So I hear Sher's intent here, which is, if I'm paraphrasing, right, I'm speculating, sure, I want to just be clear, I'm not being arrogant here, but my takeaway and my assumption is that your intent is to transcend the limited defining boxedness of woman. You want to be more than woman. Yes, absolutely. Bina's poem is a starting point, not an end.
Yes, yes. No,
Yeah.
Where it led me though was the recognition that I am still trapped, stuck, boxing myself into those self-imposed limitations of living up to the expectations of everybody else, that I'm supposed to be mom, I'm supposed to be grandma.
Exactly.
Instead of, you know, and here I am struggling to, you know, be a good grandma and a good provider and a good guardian.
Yes.
Well, at what point do I have to stop and start being good to me as a human?
Exactly. Yes. So Bina's poem has a very subtle genius to it.
Yeah.
It's emphasizing new woman I am, but at the same time, it's saying transcend this, don't get stuck in it. It's not saying it obviously, but you taking that moreness that's implied. Don't just limit yourself to woman. Go past that. It's a stepping stone. It's a starting point. Wonderful.
Yes,
So
it is.
it's really, really, really cool. So in a way, she's saying, oh, new woman I am. But if you really feel the poem, you know, I can't stop there. That's limiting. That's a box. So fantastically cool, because likable was likewise a prison, a box. So yes, it's
very
magically
much so.
potent. So yes.
In the
So
sense of,
you know, same thing for men. You know, we get assigned these roles, and we have an expectation, I believe anyways, you know, for myself, I was holding up this expectation of, well, I'm supposed to be this, otherwise I'm not good enough.
Exactly. So
And I
Sherman.
do this with raising CJ.
Yeah, exactly.
I discussed it with all you guys about how I don't feel like I'm doing a good enough job.
Yes. But you are.
Thoughts on that? I am doing a good job.
Yes.
I'm doing the best that I can.
Yeah.
So
you're doing the best you can with the tools that you have currently, which are a lot better than the tools you had in the past.
Exactly.
I even as CJ's mom do not expect perfection from you, mom, because sorry, I just want you to I want you to know that, like, you're doing the best you can with the tools you have right now, which are a lot better than the tools you had when I was growing up. And that's exactly what what I want for him is for us to try, for us to just do the best we can. The thing is one thing that I realized, or that I had come to the realization of during my session with Sil earlier, was that I'm not my mental illness.
Please repeat that. Please repeat that as a real power definitive statement. I
am not my mental illness.
Exactly.
I am not my past. I am not the drug addicted person that I used to be.
Yes.
I am not a runner.
Exactly.
And what I am is I'm my own universe, and my universe is me.
Yes.
And if you think about the universe, it is never ending. It's constantly expanding. It's constantly changing. It's constantly evolving.
Yes.
And that's, you know, how I associate it with.
Yes.
So it gives me that extra room instead of setting even as a limitation as a human. I am way more than a human. I am way more than a person.
Yes. 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 And what else are you? You are more, and you're also what?
Lovable.
Yes. You're enough. You're enough. And
I'm
you're
enough.
also more. Both together.
Yes.
You are
I'm enough.
enough.
Yeah.
And you're also more. Yes. 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 So a big point that we came to this morning is to understand that it's not lessness which caused your problems in the past, but your moreness. It's a very unobvious point. It's very, very peculiar and difficult point. We think that we got problems because we're deficient, we're lacking, we're broken, whatever. But same with you, sure, right? You have so much moreness. It's how to deal with it. So much goodness, how to deal with it. It's not very. It's counterintuitive to say, but hang on a second. You got problems because of your moreness? Yes. You got problems because of your goodness? Yes. Because we don't know how to be good, how to be more in the society that doesn't make allowance for it. Yeah. So this is a very, very major point. To realize that, oh my goodness, I was struggling to be good. I was struggling to be more. Yes. Look at confidence. You have confidence, but you were so afraid of being confident because your moreness, your goodness said, don't go and be egotistical. Don't be overconfident. Don't overestimate yourself. Don't be arrogant, right? That's what the fear of being confident. So as a result, you ended up struggling with confidence. Not because you weren't confident, but you didn't know how to be appropriately confident, which is what you said earlier. You realize that if you put humility and confidence together, there you get appropriate confidence. To have humble confidence, this is the powerful. So it's all about the appropriateness. You didn't know how to be appropriate with your own goodness, your own moreness. Yes, sure. You too?
Yes.
Yeah, very powerful, very, very, very powerful stuff. I mean, ridiculously powerful. It's non-obvious, it's counterintuitive, but boy, is it huge. So I want to make a very big point here for CJ, since both of you are connected with CJ. CJ and sure, and Jessica, all of you, right? This being a parent, a guardian, a mom, a grandmother, an influencer, whatever, right? With somebody else. It's not all on you. I've got news for both of you. It's a collaboration with CJ. A collaboration with CJ. CJ is part of this, yes? You can do everything you can do. If CJ doesn't collaborate in raising himself, in learning and growing, well, there's nothing you can do then, right? So a lot of it is on CJ too. And that's why CJ is doing what he's doing, because he understands this. He realizes it's on me. I've got responsibility to change, to grow, to learn, to do the things that I need to do, to learn to deal with my moreness, right? Same thing as you and CJ also struggles how to deal with his moreness. He's got tons of moreness because CJ is Lou. He's got tons of moreness. How to deal with it, that's a different story. It's not always easy. Yeah. It's a really peculiar problem to realize that our problems come from moreness and goodness, not from badness and lack. And no, we've got so much, we just don't know how to use it. It's really, really fantastic. Yeah.
So being human then is a collaboration. It's a collaborative effort. It's individual, but it's also
exactly,
collaborative.
correct. And I was saying parenting specifically, or guardianship, this is a collaboration. And this is to me, I feel something that absolutely in society needs to change. We tend to think of parenting or teaching, being a teacher as kind of a top-down thing that you like pushing information into another and you doing something. It's up to you no, it's not up to you how they turn out. You can absolutely do your best. If somebody's not interested in learning and growing, you could be absolutely 100% perfect as a parent, and it still won't have the results that you want, right? So it's a collaboration. The other person involved has to collaborate, right? It's a collaboration. Right. And collaboration is, definition of collaboration for your dictionary of power, please put it in there. Collaboration is 1 + 1 = more. Or in this case, 1 + 1 + 1 right? Equal more, right? It doesn't equal 3 or 4 or 10 or zillion. No, it's always more than that, right? So collaboration, when you collaborate, you get more than what you would be able to do on your own. Yes?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. You
So
do.
1 + 1 = more. That's the definition of collaboration. Yes. So I'm making the point here that, you know, you can't, if with CJ, he's part of this equation. You know, it's a collaboration, right? CJ, does it make sense, CJ?
He says
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Okay. So, you know, again, we're talking about responsibility. Your responsibility as a guardian, as a parent, is to share all the things in that collaboration. Now, the other party says, oh, I never thought to do this. Ah, that's kind of cool. This is new. But they can't be just doing it because you say so. They got to do it because it makes sense to them. They got to think it through to the end. They got to make it their own. Then that's the collaboration, the doing part. Yes. Because if they just say yes, 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 and they just will become a Stepford child, and that's no good either. Yeah? You don't want them to just be doing everything to be a robot, no? Right? So it's them too that's got to be doing something. And of course, the major part of being a parent is making sure that there's space for whoever you're parenting, for space for them to apply, to do, to claim, to experiment, to test, to bump their head, etc. Right?
Yes.
Yes, it's a collaboration. And when you think of it as a collaboration, isn't that just too wonderful? All right, so if you play games together, this is a collaboration. Even though you might be competing, it's still a collaboration, yes? Because you agreed to the rules. That's collaboration. So competitions are just special forms of collaborating. But, you know, we can collaborate without competing, which is even better, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, we can collaborate without competing, even though competition, you know, like when there's a game, you know, football game, whatever, those are grand collaborations, really, even though we see them as competitions. In actuality, they're grand collaborations, right? The only time there's no competition really is in all-out war, right? That's, I mean, when there's true competition, where there's no collaboration, I mean, that's the only time that you get true competition is all-out war. And who wants that? Nobody. So when we understand it's collaboration is where we want to be at, not competition, because competition is, you know, it's mutually destructive in the end. True competition. In order to compete in the normal sense, it's actually a collaboration, right? So it's, again, we're doing these fine discerning distinctions because they change the way we look at things and understand. It gives us insight, you know. So when we do this, we really understand the world better, right? We're making ourselves more intelligent as a result, yes? Kind of a big deal.
CJ asked me if I would read his thoughts on responsibility.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm looking forward to hearing your CJ voice.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't want to read it, but
That's okay.
but he would.
That's okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so my responsibility to my anxiety and worry is to try to overcome it with acknowledgement. When I acknowledge my anxiety and worry, I can take over my anxiety and worry to change, in capital letters, to change it to acceptance and moreness. By the way, those are capital acceptance and capital.
Yes. I was going to say, yes, I can hear it in there that you've got acknowledgement and acceptance and moreness in your dictionary of power. I could hear those capitals. I could hear them. Fantastic.
My capital R responsibility for others is to do all caps of the things that I need to, so I don't have to leak my anxiety and worry.
Exactly. Now, again, I love the CJ, you know, to that implication of leak is saying, you know, it's like when you got a virus, you know, you need to isolate yourself and put a mask on so that you don't leak your virus onto anybody else and infect them. Yes, this is a responsibility to others. And negativity is the most powerful, ridiculously horrible, worst virus ever. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Now, I want to make a very important point here. Yes? Because you said leak. Now, leak, somebody could say, well, I got to stop those leaks. In other words, I got to keep my anxiety and worry to myself and not let it show. By implication, you know, I can, that doesn't actually work, by the way. You might think so, but no matter how much you don't show it, it still will come through out in your vibes, your energies overall. Yes. So the point is to learn to deal with it, to learn to not to understand anxiety and worry and to transform it. You don't have to have anxiety and worry. You can transform it into caution, for instance, and strategy and preparedness. Yes.
Yes.
There you go. So again, so it's not about, you know, controlling it and hiding it and not showing it to others. I'm not saying you're doing this, CJ. I'm just making a more general point, right? Because you know, others may also watch this to make this subtle point very clear. Yes, you don't want to leak your anxiety and worry while you deal with it, and then you can hold it for. But in the meantime, you also want to understand that you're going to transform it rather, so that you can replace it with something positive, like caution and strategy and trust and confidence and all sorts of other things. Yes. So anxiety and worry are just simply, you know, inefficient, ineffective tools that don't really work. We think that we need them, but we don't actually, right? Just they square circles. They don't really exist.
They don't
false
serve us any
ideas.
purpose.
Exactly. They don't serve any purpose. Exactly. But we think they do. We believe they do. It's just one of those unfortunate shoulds that we've come to believe. Well, this is what you should do. If you're a good person, you should worry and be anxious. No, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Sorry, anybody who says that out there, absolute rubbish, right? Please don't repeat it to anybody. It's a horrible thing to say. Oh, but you should worry. Nonsense. Absolute rubbish, right? Sherman?
Hey, thank you for letting me join you. Yeah, I've been in the room. I just have been on like rounds, so I couldn't.
Yeah. Wonderful. Let's hear from you, Sherman. Let's hear from you. Please go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying that I had a chance to like I'm able to talk if necessary.
All good. So I wanted to say something to you and CJ, because that poem said new woman. Yes. And I said, well, you know, what about the men? Yeah, well, okay. The idea there is to hear it like Sher said, new person I am, or new human I am, new being I am. Yes. It's not a gender specific thing. Yes. You know, Bina is touching it on a gender thing, because there is a legacy, and we live in a somewhat misogynistic society still, you know, left over from all these centuries of things being distorted. But to rectify it doesn't mean that we want to say, you know, man, woman again. No, let's go further. Let's go to moreness. Let's go
like
to being people. Let's go to being beings, sentient beings, you know, persons, morenesses. Yeah. That's it. That's what I think of myself. I'm not a man or a woman or anything. I'm a moreness.
That's right. Yeah.
Are you a moreness, Sher? Are you a moreness, Sher?
Yeah,
Are you a moreness, Jessica?
Yes.
How about Lou? Let me hear from Lou in the background there. Lou, are you? I mean, CJ, are you a moreness?
What did he say? He said, "Are you a moreness?" I don't know. He's like, I don't know.
Okay. If you come closer to the camera, you're gonna get a smack on your head over there. Please I'll give you that answer again. Are you a moreness, CJ?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes, of course you are a moreness. I mean,
that was a very timid yes.
I don't care. It's still a yes. It's still a yes.
Yes,
Of
it is
course
still
you're
a
a
yes.
moreness, CJ. Of course you're a moreness. I understand that
But
you
I
don't want
think
to
it's
be
important.
egotistical, but this is not a matter of speculation. This is just a fact. Yes. All right. Well, let's prove it to CJ. Let's prove it to CJ. CJ, do you still poop in your pants like you used to do?
No.
See, you're moreness. You already. Well, I see. You're not like, so that's it. You know, I mean, can you speak, CJ? Can you talk?
Yes.
Yes. Can your computer talk to you the way you talk to us?
No.
No. So you're way more than your very smart, very intelligent, high CPU, fantastic computer or your phone. Yes. See what I'm saying, CJ? When you say you're a moreness, you can think, you can do, you can feel. That's all moreness, no?
Yes.
Are you good, CJ? Are you a good person? Yeah. So you're moreness, right? There's moreness, right? I mean, to be a good person inherently, like Lou's a good being, this is inherently more than not being good, correct? Yeah. So you see, all right. So now let's ask you again, CJ, are you a moreness?
Yes.
Yes, but more confident in that. Yes. 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 Now, the key is, I hear you not wanting to claim it. That's the challenge, CJ, is to claim that moreness as your own. Yes. I appreciate that you are being cautious in saying this and you don't want to be overly egotistical. This is absolutely appropriate. So now your challenge, this is the challenge of learning and growing, of growing up, is to claim your moreness. You've never heard this anywhere in growing and growing up. No, what they tell you, you know what, you got to learn to be responsible and to be an adult and get a job
Yes.
and all this crap. Nah, it's to claim
Yes.
your moreness. To claim your moreness. Look what I'm saying. I'm not saying to acquire moreness. I'm saying
Nope.
to claim your moreness. It's a big difference, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah,
sure,
moreness is-
isn't this what
yes,
you've
it's-
been doing?
Yes, it's not vanity, it's not arrogance, it's not
Nope.
any of those
It's
things
just
that I was
truth.
told
Exactly.
as a kid. It's
It's
truth.
just truth. It's just truth.
But now here, this is what I was going to say. This is probably one of my most challenging responsibilities is shifting my belief away from those should have expectations.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's an enormous challenge for me because even as a coach, I have this belief in my head that if I'm going to be putting myself out there as a viable and intelligent and effective coach, then I should, catch the word, I should be ready. I should be healed. I should be all of these things.
Yeah.
Well, no, damn it. I need to just be human.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing on that poem too, that and also going back on, you know, what has been said so far, is something that I learned, that I kind of popped in my head for so long. Like you were talking about, so the society, the what is expected of us from society, that is even
Yes.
not just society, but our own family, you know,
Yes.
our own friends,
Yes.
our own coworkers.
Yes.
You know, they have these set expectations of us. However, that also distorts our own expectations of ourselves.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Yes.
it boxes us in. And
Exactly.
we are so afraid to step outside that
Exactly.
box, you know, and we can't be afraid. Just like when I came out, I had to step outside that box and say, if they can't accept it, then that's not my problem.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
want to have more from my life. I want to be
Exactly.
happy.
Exactly. And my responsibility is to claim my moreness. I want to emphasize
There you
this. It's not about acquiring moreness, finding moreness. No, claiming it, which means it's already there. It's acknowledging and accepting the moreness that's already in you, as CJ said. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how huge is that? How huge is that? Very big shift in life. Very big shift in life. So, you know, I asked everybody, but not everybody yet. Sherman, are you a moreness?
I'm trying to be.
See, CJ, you see, CJ, you're not the only one who is a bit reluctant to claim it. But of course you're a moreness, but that's it's that humility. I love the humility. Yes, I realize this. So it's about claiming that moreness. And as we go through the sermon, you're going to see it's not about trying to be more. It's about acknowledging you already have it. It's letting it come out. Yeah, it's a change of understanding, a change of perspective. It takes a little while to do. It'll come. It will come. It will come. It's
Thank you.
very,
Yeah, like
very cool.
Sometimes like I realize like now that I'm older, you know, that moreness comes from not just like a job or occupation or hobbies. It's like it's independent of all those things.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. You know, yeah, we much more than our hobbies and habits and likes and dislikes and all this. You know, this idea that you want to get to know somebody, find out what they like, it's complete nonsense. Because, you know, that same list of likes, my favorite movie, my favorite color, my favorite food, make that list. And I promise you, if you put it into Google, and you search, that list of favorites, and you search for it, and you put a serial killer next to it, you're going to find a serial killer who has the same list of favorites. So what does that
Yeah.
tell you?
A serial killer with the same like.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, wow, they could have the same favorite movie and color and food or whatever, right? All those favorites that people think this is what tells you about a person. What are your favorite stuff? This is how I get to know you. Nonsense, absolute nonsense. It's a complete myth. It's just absolutely idiotic, right? So it doesn't tell you anything about somebody. It just tells you what happens to be their favorite at the time. It doesn't tell you what kind of a person they are. Yes. So what we are doing here, this tells you what's important to you, what matters to you, what's inherently inside you.
Like, what are your values? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it
Like,
right
what do you
there.
stand?
That's
What do you
what's
stand for?
important. Exactly. So, this is what really tells you about somebody, what their passions are. Well, this is much more telling than what your favorites are. A passion is a very different thing to a favorite, right? And it's
Mhm.
why those things are. I mean, we could like the same movie, but you like it because, I don't know, it's funny. I like it because, well, it tells me about people, whatever. There are many different reasons why. So when we really look at the stuff that matters to us, that's important to us, this tells us who we are. And in the end, we all care about, goodness, for instance. Okay, well, so are we all that different? No, doesn't matter, right?
Mhm.
It's very simple in the end. So we get a little bit hung up on this, being special and all this stuff. Anyway, very cool stuff. So I just wanted to say that poem was also for you and CJ Sherman. You just have to shift it to being I am moreness, I am. And
Mhm.
right? But we still, understanding the deeper point of this issue with lovability and likability. Yes. It's
Right.
very, very powerful. Yes. Now, CJ, I want to ask you something real quick. When you go for walks, right? Most people like Lou, yes, but do all?
No.
Yeah. Now, are those people who don't like Lou, are they, is there something wrong with them? Maybe.
Mm,
Not necessarily, but some of them were a little weird, right? And a little odd and crazy. My point is that, you know what Lou is. You know who Lou is. You know what kind of a being Lou is. You know Lou's magic. But even so, and Lou is lovable. This is a fact, yes?
Yes.
Yes. But does that mean that everybody likes Lou? No. It's just the way life is. Some people have their own things, and they struggle to like because, well, it's complicated, right? In other words, they can be a little bit in their own bubbles and a little bit lost, and so therefore they don't get it. So it's an important point to not let that affect us. The fact that you're not likable, this does nothing to do with anything, right? It's about your own inherent lovableness, which you need to claim. It's not about others loving you. I am lovable. If you love me or not, that's your choice. I can't force you to love me. It doesn't change the fact that I am lovable. See? Subtle point, but a very big deal. Yes.
Are you lovable?
yeah.
I just asked him if he's lovable, and he's like,
I got to find my COVID smack video. Somewhere I had a video of the COVID smack. You remember that COVID smack video, Sue?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yes, I sure do.
Yeah,
We
it's too
we have to
wonderful.
find
It's too wonderful. It's like this guy. This was in the height of COVID, right? When it started, and a guy comes into the supermarket at the fruit and veg stand right there, and he spits or sneezes on the food. And then the guy in charge of the grocery, or the worker there, walks up to him, and man, he lays down the smack and sends the guy flying into the oranges and things over there. It was too wonderful. I mean, it's like most appropriate smack. So yes, all right. So CJ, watch out. You're gonna end up with some of those COVID smacks, but I'm just teasing a bit. But no, it's good to be a bit cautious with stuff like this. It's good. But again, it's claiming it. So very cool. Very cool. All right. So now what I want to do is hear from Bina. Bina, please share your repeat back and then takeaway of this first slide. Let me screen share. Where am I? Okay. So we're continuing. Last week we did we covered awful truths. And if anybody has something to add to awful truths, I know, Jessica, we didn't get there. We're just jumping over them, but I think you've got awful truths down already, so it's okay. So, but I want to continue here with dealing with habits, because this is awful truths. It's a core key point. Yes, so you've got awful truths in your dictionary of power. Now we're going to add a new one, which is habits. Yes. Now, most of what's in your dictionary of power is things that you want to be. They replacements, they new monuses. Now, habit is kind of a little bit of an exception because, yeah, well, you know, habit is something that we want to deal with. And it's usually kind of a negative, but we want to add it in there because understanding habit gives us power. Yes. So we are going to look to be doing this, right? And this is very key. So, Bina, did you put your repeat back in comments, please? I want to read it. Bina wrote a most wonderful repeat back, and I want to read it. So, where are you, Bina? Where are you? There's a little bit of a delay. So, yeah, it's like half a minute delay. So, all right. So, I'll read this in the meantime. CJ, you feel like reading this for us?
Can you read this?
Please.
Yeah, he can.
Please, please.
Here. Either off the phone or off my laptop, one of the two.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. Right there.
Expectation is a habit. I can't see. Okay. A powerful, affecting and life-changing habit we don't always necessarily think of as a habit. There are many similar. What?
There are many similar.
And we look closely at such habits. But first, we have to acknowledge that we do have such habits. This is essential. Also, to be aware that habits are mostly mindless influences which have massive impact on us in our lives.
Yes, 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 yes. That's very cool. Thank you, CJ. Thank you. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so yeah, Bina's going to share in a minute. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, Bina. It's all sorts of delays and Facebook is being weird. So, all right. No worries. We'll go to Jessica. Jessica, you have repeat backs and takeaways on the slide?
Yeah, so I have when it comes to habits for me, and they are the ones that are the negative self-talk, the words, the different ways, uses of words that I have. Even when I don't realize that I'm doing it. And that was something that was brought to my attention earlier about my use of words and how it diminishes or minimizes the effect of what I'm saying to myself. Because also when I write things down, I'm not only just saying them, I'm saying it to also myself and not realizing that that's exactly what I'm telling myself at the same time. So by changing that, the way I use words, the way I emphasize words, even when I'm thinking in my own head, whether I'm doing that or whether I am talking to somebody else, that is a better habit to form. So you can take habit like bad habits and add to them, but changing them to a good habit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like you can flip it. And so not every habits are associated with bad things, like you said. So, however, they don't have to be associated with bad things.
No,
Changing a few words,
exactly.
changing a few actions, it's a positive now.
Appropriateness, in other words. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Wonderful. 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 Sherman? Sherman, you have a repeat back or a takeaway to share on this, or both? Where did Sherman go? All right, maybe Sherman can't talk. All right, just in case. We want to get Sherman into
I'm
trouble.
Here. I'm here.
Okay.
I would say like I guess like repeat back would be like sometimes like you know we do things that can be not helpful just because we're comfortable with doing things a certain way.
Yeah.
And so by bringing awareness, you know, with help, sometimes like self-awareness is not enough. Like you need somebody to like call you out.
Yeah.
Or at least help you identify like the habits. You can start making like better choices in life.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I got. Yeah, that's what I was getting from.
Okay.
And it's like when you make better choices, when you make different choices, not even better, but like when you make different choices, you have different results.
Yeah.
And that's how you like kind of make progress in life.
Yes. Yes. And it's to realize that we do have different choices. Yes.
Yeah, we always have choices.
Yes. We don't always know what they are, but we have them. We don't
Yeah.
always know what they are, but we have them. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. CJ, you might not know what your choices are, but that doesn't mean that you haven't got any choices, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me read Bina's repeat back of the slide here. Because I want to emphasize this, right? Bina is doing this, and I'm using her as an example of what I'm hoping that you guys will get to. Right? It takes a little while to really get into the repeat backs and takeaways. It's a different way of our brain thinking about things, processing things, dealing with things. So, and it's very, very powerful when we get there, right? So that's why I'm keeping on sharing Bina's repeat backs and takeaways here, because I want to give examples of what we're after, right? So, okay, so I'm going to do this now. Leave the slide up, and at the same time, we can see Bina's repeat back over here. I didn't ask you to shift Windows. Come on now. It just pulls that when I move my cursor, it puts the window up. Anyway, so her repeat back here is act of expectation. The act of expectation is a habit, and habit is mostly not a mindful, deliberate act, which means we have learned and adopted this behavior of expectation from outside. It is a learned behavior, not necessarily a mindful act. First, we have to acknowledge and establish this awareness in our minds that expectation is a habit, and we have these habits. Very cool repeat back. So what Bina is saying is exactly the same thing as the slide is saying, just in Bina's words. Yes?
Yeah.
Right. Now, what's the power of this? Bina's not doing it for our benefit. It's for
She's owning it.
Bina's benefit. Yes? Sure?
Yeah,
Right.
she's owning it.
Yeah, she's owning it. She's making it her own. Exactly. But also she's checking to see, did I really get this? Now, you know, okay, so we can look at this and say, does Bina understand what's being said on the slide here? Right? Sherman, Jessica, CJ, does Bina understand what the slide is saying?
Yes.
It's like, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is very, very powerful. And also, Bina's practicing her expression, her ability to say it in her own words. Now, there's a very subtle thing that happens in your brain when you put it in your own words. It becomes yours. This doesn't mean that you necessarily agree with it or disagree, but it's become yours, right? So whether, you know, if I say, well, you know what, here's my magic wand. All right, that's a remote, which is kind of a, you know, figurative magic wand. But my point is, if I say this is, or this is a remote, whatever I'm saying, this is a fact over here, whether I agree or not with its existence, it still exists, right? So to understand and know something doesn't mean you necessarily agree with it or disagree. Like, I mean, you know, agree and disagree. I could say, is this a good remote, or whatever, you know, there's a lot of stuff that comes into it. So when we do a repeat back, we own it. We own it from a point of understanding, which is so much better than focusing on agree and disagree. For me personally, I've thrown agree and disagree out of my vocabulary, by the way. You'll almost never hear me use them.
Right.
They're pointless. You know, what does it matter whether I agree or disagree? What matters is what I understand. Yes. And when I understand, things change. You know, with forgiveness, this is especially really potent. When you truly, truly understand, there's nothing to forgive. Goes away, becomes irrelevant. right? I understand. That's it. End of story. I don't need any more than that. I don't need to be concerned with
That's right.
forgiving. No, it becomes sort of a nothing. It's really potent because I understand. I understand where you were coming from. I understand what you were doing. Did I agree with your actions at the time? Did I think they were nice? No, but I understand. So, see, understand it surpasses everything. It's very powerful. So a repeat back is to practice your skill of understanding. Yeah. Even though you may read it and you go, well, what I need to do a repeat back for? I know I understand this. It's to practice your skill. It's a very, very powerful thing to train your brain to be able to do that. You put it in your own words, you make it your own. Very, very powerful. All right.
Right.
So now the takeaway.
I have a question.
Oh, please, 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 please.
So in the aspect, okay,
you?
so I'm reading the one sentence that says
Good, how are you?
expectation is a habit,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that right there, just that one little phrase it's really, it's making my mind real at this point because,
Yeah, I love this. I love this. I love this. Yes. Yes. Yes.
because
Yes.
I'm sitting
Because
here, I'm like,
yeah.
thinking about it, and I'm like, so when we expect something to go a certain way, it doesn't happen. So it causes anxiety and worry.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
that becomes a continuous habit that just goes round and round and round in
Yes.
circles.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And
Yes.
there's
Yes.
just no purpose.
Yes.
So changing that and acknowledging, oh, well, it's okay. Like understanding that when we expect something to go a certain way, that it's not always going to turn out the way we want it to be.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, don't go
Okay.
away, CJ. Come back. Come back. Come back. But keep going. Keep going.
He's
Keep going.
coming back. I know
Oh.
he needs to listen to this. I
But
should
like,
listen.
this something I have a habit of doing
Yeah.
is expecting things to go a certain way. And when it doesn't go that certain way, it sends me into a whirlwind of anxiety and
Exactly.
worry and fear.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
And it's a continuous habit
Yes.
to do that.
Yes.
And it serves me zero purpose on that. And
Yes.
so changing my perspective of saying, okay, well, this is my expectation, and understanding that it may not go the way I expected to, and that's okay.
Yes, yes. I am getting super excited because I was talking about repeat backs and what a repeat back is and why they're powerful. Now, look what you just did. You did a takeaway. Yes. That's what you just shared is your takeaway on this. You shared what it's, wow, man, what am I taking? Wow, wow, wow. And you went through all these conclusions and implications and effects and consequences of thinking about what this is. Yes, you really took that in and you thought it through and you went on with it and you kept going. This is your takeaway. Yes, that endness, the endness that comes from thinking it through to the end. That's what you just shared with us, right?
Yes, it is.
It's incredibly powerful. It's incredible. And just from one sentence. So this sentence is very powerful. It's a fractal conception. Now, I'll explain what I mean about that. Like every entry into your dictionary of power, a fractal really is just a pattern. Literally, when they make those wonderful, you've seen fractal art, right? Those complex patterns from, and all it is you're saying, take one line and you put another line. Let's say you join another line to it at 40 degrees, just for argument's sake. And then you keep repeating. You keep repeating, right? That's what a fractal is. A fractal starts off with a very simple formula that keeps repeating. Now, when you do this, you end up with something that doesn't resemble the starting point at all. You end up with this massive moreness, right? So what you did was you said, what's going on here? And you started to unpack it, right? You started to take that pattern and you went more and more and more, and you ended up with a moreness from very simple, correct, Jessica? So, I mean, this expectation is a habit, is that simple formula. And you started to just unpack it and add energy to it. And it grew and grew and you got all the smallness from it. Yeah.
Yes.
A fractal conception, in other words. Now, I do this deliberately. I really make an effort to pack in fractal conceptions. Dealing with habits is another one, right? So these are lots of them. And just the word expectation, you put it in a dictionary of power, it's a fractal right there. Because when you start to water it and unpack it and pay attention to it, so much moreness comes. Yes. It's magically powerful. And what you did was you thought about this. You looked at the implications. You looked at the consequences, and you saw all of this come. You said, holy majoli, I suddenly see the connection between anxiety and worry and expectation. So I promise you what you said, Jessica, is going to probably be in the next couple of slides somewhere or later in the program, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool. So that was just an example of a takeaway. Now, there's many types of takeaways. Sometimes you have a come up takeaway, something that comes up in you that's not necessarily directly related. Like, you read the slide and you say, oh, you know what, this makes me think of Grandma Dot and what else? What has this got to do with things? But they're so important. Write them down, because you may not see the connection right away, but they are generally connected. It's very powerful. Very powerful. Very cool. All right. So we'll get to Bina's takeaway. Sherman, CJ, you have takeaways you want to share on this?
CJ, do you have one?
No.
No,
He's grinning,
Sherman?
he's dancing around and grinning. Yeah, I think.
No,
you
I
got
don't.
it.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right. So we'll reach Bina's takeaway on this. It says, for me, the first important point is the way expectation has been addressed. A new understanding, or in other words, a new perspective on expectations. Isn't that exactly what happened with Jessica? Right? So Bina's just saying what happened for you, right? You had a new understanding of expectation, right, Jessica?
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. Nice takeaway there. Excellent. I assume most of us, like me, never think of expectations or expectation as a habit. No. And it's both here. It's expectation as a category and expectations in the particular, right? So it's actually
Yeah,
both.
I didn't see it until now.
Right. As we didn't think of us as a habit. By implication, this awareness is not a simple concept. Once we acknowledge that expecting is not a natural, innate behavior, but learned and adopted behavior from others, culture, society, etc., which means expectations are not aligned with our true, real, and authentic self, because it was not our deliberate choice. What a sentence from Bina there. Yes, isn't that what you were saying as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Expectations are not aligned with our true, real, and authentic self. Yeah. Hello, Janet. I'm on live, so come back later. All right, Janet can't hear me, but okay. Bina, will you please tell Janet, and she can come and listen maybe too. Janet's just a wonderful friend. So hello, Janet. Always makes me happy when connecting. All right. Anyway, so this is really powerful. Expectations are not aligned with our true, real, and authentic self, because it was not our deliberate choice. This is very important. And when she's connecting this now to expectation as a habit, and that's the part that makes it. We can have deliberate expectations, of course, but in general, they're not. And that's what you were saying too. You realize, holy moly, I'm expecting the stuff and I don't even mean to. That's what you were saying, right, Jessica? Once we acknowledge that expectation is just a program we allow to be installed in ourselves, and we have almost no control over, but it is just an autopilot mode, or in other words, it is just a habit. Only then can we learn and adapt new deliberate behaviors by practicing capital C choice. Yes, very profound, Bina. Bina adds a bit more here. Okay, we learn to expect from the time of our birth. That is why we assume that everything is our right. And because of this belief, we feel disappointed with others, with ourselves, and with life in general. Holy moly, Bina. That's like, one of those extended takeaways that jump into moreness now, right? Bina, the philosopher, coming in. Very powerful, Bina. Very powerful. I have news for all of you. Right? Sure, Jessica, Sherman, CJ, you're all philosophers. Yeah, you're going to see. You don't think so now. You say, well, I'm no philosopher. I'm not boring. No, you're all philosophers. Every time you share what matters to you, like that point that you made, Jessica, that your takeaway there, was that not philosophy? Yes. Why? Because a philosophy is something that you wish to live by, that you want to change your way of behaving. That's what philosophy is. It's something to live by, correct? So what you said, Jessica, didn't that change what you live by? Jessica?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So that made you a philosopher. How cool is that? You can add that behind your name now. Jessica Marchman, philosopher.
That's
How cool is that?
that is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So look at Bina. See, Bina, philosopher. So when we do takeaways, we are learning to share what our philosophy is. That's what a takeaway is. It's your philosophy, really. What you feel is important, what you want to live by, what's important to you, what you're going to use, and what you live by, what you use, what you apply. That is what philosophy actually is. Not dry theoretical stuff. That's just nonsense. That's just people bullshitting to pretend that they're philosophers, right? Or trying to be clever. All right, yes, some of it is for real too. But, philosophy's gotten a bad name. But really, most country western songs are about somebody's philosophy. Yeah. So most songs in general, never mind country western, right? Is somebody expressing their philosophy. This is what they live by. This is what's important to them. This is what matters. Right. That's what philosophy is. What you do. So you're all philosophers, right? It's kind of cool to think of it. We're going to change what philosophy means and being a philosopher, right? So we want to be effective philosophers and thoughtful philosophers. And look at Jessica. You embraced the number one quality, characteristic of a philosopher, which is thinking things through to the end. Right? This is a big deal to you, Jessica.
It is a big deal to me because I had a hard time doing that. And I mean, I'm still going to at times. It's not going to be perfect.
Yes.
I'm just really, I'm really happy and enlightened that it's like a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
Just,
Yes.
especially a breath of fresh air in like an autumn day or something, just kind of like, okay, I actually thought something through and I recognized that I thought it through at that moment in time.
Yes.
That's actually pretty awesome. I can think things through.
To the end. Don't forget to add that, right?
To the end. I can think things through to the end. Think
Yes.
things through is only like 3/4 of the way to the
Exactly.
end. To the end is
difference.
all the way
Right.
to the end.
Right. The power comes from thinking it through to the end. Otherwise, you got these half-baked theories and they basically just got opinions and more or lesses and maybes and perhapses and no. Right? Right. That doesn't really
Yes,
do it.
and
It doesn't cut it. Doesn't cut it.
you can argue all you want about the different various possibilities and all this other stuff, but what's the true possibility for you?
Exactly.
Because what's a true possibility for you may not be a possibility for somebody else until they come to their own conclusion as to what is a possibility for them.
Will you repeat that, please? Verbatim, if you can.
Yes. What is a possibility to you isn't always a possibility to somebody else. You cannot argue your possibilities or your quote unquote points to somebody else, and because they have to be able to come to their own conclusion, their own perspective, their own knowledge, their own way of thinking as to what works for them, what their possibilities are for them.
Yeah. See, more philosophy from philosopher Jessica. It's unbelievable. See, when I first said, "Are you all philosophers?" You said, "What? No, come on, really, seriously, so, right?" And now, yeah, I got proof. Yes. I got a whole tab full of Sher's philosophy.
I know.
I got a whole guide. Yes. Sher's a magical philosopher. Most wonderful. Yes, and CJ, I got news for you. You're also going to be a philosopher. Yes. You already are. Same as Sherman.
I
Yeah, he
have
raised his hands up and did it. Yeah.
Say again.
and I've had the pleasure of hearing CJ's philosophies on things, and I'd have to say I learn things from him. Even and I'm an adult, but I still learn things from him.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So I got a question here for adults, right? Well, and for CJ. So when you buy a new computer, right, and your computer's young, does that computer have any less computing power than when it's older?
No.
No, no. So does it not maybe have all the software loaded yet, and you haven't customized it to work with you and all of this stuff, right? You haven't done that yet, yes? But the actual computing power of the computer is the same, whether it's a young computer or an old computer, yes? Yeah. So when it comes to people, and you think of people as computers, it changes our understanding a little bit, right? That to realize that just because somebody's a new computer doesn't mean they can't compute. Yes. Yes, CJ, exactly. Exactly. So does it mean that they have all the software? Does it mean that they got a good database of stuff to work from? No, but that doesn't mean they can't compute, right? So it's very important. So anybody can compute at any time. Doesn't matter your experience, information, programming, all that stuff, right? It's very powerful.
Exactly. I was
Very powerful.
more like celebrating the fact
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
no matter what, I can still learn things
Exactly.
from other people
Exactly.
regardless of age.
Exactly. So I wasn't meaning to give you a hard time there, a little bit, just to make the point, because it's not on you. I'm just making it in general, right? Because we tend to think this, just adults in general, that kids, because they are ignorant, are stupid. It's not the same thing. Yes. Ignorance and
Right.
stupidity. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing at all.
Not at all.
And at the same time, being informed doesn't make you intelligent. Yeah, having a lot of data and information, some people think it makes them smart. No, it doesn't make you smart, it makes you informed. Being smart is the ability to process, the ability to perspective shift. This makes you smart. The ability to think things through to the end. This makes you smart. Yes. The ability to see implications, consequences. That's what makes you smart, not information. Yes.
And the willingness to deal with
Very
them
important.
appropriately.
Say that again, please.
And the willingness to deal with them appropriately.
Exactly. Now, look there. I've got to give some props here, some stars to Jessica. Jessica is taking to heart what we discussed earlier. I said, Jessica, we discussed this concept of appropriateness. And I said, use these new conceptions that you put into your dictionary of power. Use them in your language. Look what you've been doing, right? You're using it in your language. Look at the power of it, right, Jessica?
Very much so.
Power.
It
It's
opens
incredible.
up a whole door of new
Incredible.
possibilities, doors, windows, everything, knocks down all the walls.
Yes, that's it. Every now and then I throw everything out and then I put it all back. Because if you're going to clear your closet, right? You guys know this, right? If you go through that closet and you say, well, do I really need this piece? And you're trying to clear out your closet, and you standing in front of the closet, you say, do I really need this? Well, maybe not. You end up taking very little out of it. Yes. Now I ask you, if you were to take that entire closet and you move it to the front lawn, and you say, this is all going to go to Goodwill, the entire closet. You say, well, hold on, there's what do I want to keep? Yeah. Now you've already given it to Goodwill. Now you're going to decide what you're going to put back in your closet. Very different decision, right? You're going to end up putting a lot less stuff into your closet than originally when you were deciding to take out the stuff that you don't want. Yes. So when we start fresh, in other words, and we put new things in, it's a very different logic to trying to get rid of stuff that we don't want, right? Make sense? Yeah, sure, Jessica, Sherman?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, sorry, I had myself muted.
It's
Yes.
okay. Yes, makes sense. CJ, yes, very cool, wonderful. All right, so sure, I want to go over your question here. You said, challenge question to Bina. I believe we can be raised to not expect, and later developing the anxiety of wishing for things to come to us as an expectation. Can you elaborate on that, please? That's really cool. Yeah, more of a thought on the second point. A come up takeaway, in other words. Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please elaborate.
Okay.
That's very cool. I love this.
All right, where my thought went with that was when I got to go back to what Dina wrote, that hold on, give me 2 seconds here. When we learn to expect from the time of our birth, that is why we assume that everything is our right.
Yeah.
I was not raised as a child. I was not given that belief that I had rights.
Yes.
Because of that, I really didn't expect. I knew what to expect, what was coming to me. I knew what to prepare for. But expectations, to me, I see expectations as something that's good. So later on as an adult, I learned to see and understand that my wishes and hopes, where I would wish for, something to be different, I would always compare myself. I was doing a lot of wishing and hoping and dreaming, fantasizing in a lot of ways that, let's see, I would wish and dream and hope, and those expectations, when they weren't filled, I would really feel down about myself. I would feel that I wasn't enough, that it wasn't good enough to get these things to happen.
Wow.
So it created a lot of anxiety for me.
Yes.
Wondering, am I good enough? And when I would
Yes.
go out in public, oh gosh, are people going to see right through me? Are they going to see that I'm this icky thing that doesn't deserve? And so I wouldn't think that I was enough.
Yeah.
So when I
So you had
learned
an
to change that
expectation
around,
that you weren't enough.
yes. So basically I taught myself
Yeah.
to expect and believe that I would be received as not enough, because that's how I'm putting myself out there.
Yeah.
So when people would say, oh, what do you dream for? What do you wish for? I didn't, because I believed that nothing good would come of wishing and dreaming.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
but I've learned how
Wow.
to-
Wow. Wow. What a powerful share. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. 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 For
So
me,
to me,
oh, go ahead.
expectations now, when I see an expectation now, if I'm like when I'm going to give you an example, CJ, I expect you to, cooperate. I'm just going to use that. And when I mean cooperate, like, hey, I'm asking you to help with a chore. And I have an expectation that he's going to follow through, knowing, of course, he has a choice not to.
Yes. Yes.
I expect that. To me, that's a good expectation. A bad expectation for me, and I'm using that word intentionally,
Yes.
a bad expectation would be expecting when I post something that I'm going to get 1,000 likes.
Yes. Good. Good. Yeah.
I know they're opposite. They're completely opposite, but I'm just trying to make that illustration.
No, it's great.
So,
It's great. Wonderful. I know. Yeah.
So wishing and hoping for me, and maybe that, I don't know. I just don't find magic in it. I find magic more in being truthful, in more logical.
Yes. Yes.
It's pragmatic. Yeah.
Yes.
I just find more truth, more magic in the reality of things, of being in the present moment.
Yes.
So.
Now look at the magic of what you just said there in that last comment of yours and what you just said now. And what Jessica shared. This connection between expectation as a habit and anxiety and worry. Yes, when we have wishes and hopes and they become expectations and then they aren't fulfilled, that's when we end up with anxiety and worry. Or we worry that our wishes and hopes won't come true. So yes, it's all joined together, right? And it's kind of a mess. Yes?
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of see it in the way the stories that we tell ourselves.
Exactly.
We can meet somebody and we've got this story in our head that it goes two ways. They're either going to like us and love us, or they're just not going to take to us.
Yeah.
Now, if you got somebody who's in the victim mindset or in survivor mode, unfortunately, that expectation is going to go to the negative. They're going to be, they're just going to hate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very powerful. Very powerful. So when we see this connection between expectations, habits, anxiety and worry, wishes and hopes, it really comes through. So like Jessica said, we want to have appropriateness in our life. If we're going to expect, have appropriate expectations and don't get locked into your expectations. Don't expect your expectations to become facts. Yes, expectations are simply a possibility, not an actuality. Yes.
Right.
So but expectations affect and influence and color our view of the world. That's what you are saying. So
yes.
When you have this view, you start to see things through the filter of your expectations, and now you aren't seeing the world for what it is, and this will lead you astray, get you into trouble, and cause all sorts of problems. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a massively, ridiculously huge point. A huge point. Huge point.
It can give us a sense of false bravado, or it can put us locked up behind our doors forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant.
For years, because it wasn't widely accepted in certain family members. Like I tried to come out once of the closet with my sexuality, and it wasn't greatly received. It was my mom thought it was a phase Shira thought it was a phase I was going through. My brothers, they thought it was just a phase, and that, I'm meant to be, and there was that you're
Jessica's
gonna
just
get
looking
married
for
one day
attention,
to a
right?
guy.
Like, oh, Jessica's just looking for attention or whatever. Right.
Yeah, and it was always, I always heard, well, one day you're gonna marry a great guy, and all this stuff, and I'm like, but I really don't like guys. Why am I even with them? And I finally, and that became my own expectation, an expectation of others for me became my own. And so I expected out of obligation, but also out of just personal expectation, I need to make it work with these guys. I need to do, X, Y, and Z. That is my expectation. But it caused me great anxiety all the time because I'm like, I'm not happy. And so when I let go of that expectation that I need to be with a male, that I need to date somebody, that I need to even,
A relationship.
with them, you have to be with them in order to feel love or to feel accepted. That changed when I spent a whole year and a half just by myself, just
Wonderful.
learning to
Wonderful.
figure out what is it that I really want. And when I found it, I'm like, now I feel more free to be myself and to be me and to be proud. And, it's I never really thought about it in that stance before, though. When we were talking about expectations and going into habits, because it was a habit to be with a guy.
Exactly.
It became a habit. I just went through the motions.
So listen, if we apply capital H hearing to Jessica and also to just in general. So a couple of times now you said, I never really thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
Right? Or something similar. That is the point and the purpose of RepeatBacks and takeaways, to train your brain to get into the habit, a power habit, a capital H habit, a appropriate habit of thinking about things in a way that you've never thought about them before. Now, why is this a power habit? Because you're not repeating the same thing. If you think about things in a different way, you're doing something different every time. So you've got an open, fluid, appropriate habit. It's not a limiting habit. It's an empowering habit. Yes. But this is an incredible ability to think about things differently. I never really thought about it before. Just doing that alone makes a difference. Just simply to think about things that you never thought about before. It's incredible how much power comes from that, right? The point of the RepeatBacks and the takeaways. There's a subtle, incredible, profound effect that happens on your psychology when you simply start to think about things, especially think about things in a slightly different way. The power of perspective shifting and thinking it through to the end. It's a ridiculous power. Yes?
Very.
Huge,
I agree.
huge. It's so marvelous. It's so marvelous. It's so marvelous. Sherman, anything to add before we go to the next slide?
No.
Okay. So I want to encourage this. I know you're busy, Sherman. I know you got lots to do, but if you can somewhere, make a bit of time just, to write down those takeaways and RepeatBacks. As you get better at it, it'll go really quick. It changes your brain. I cannot emphasize how potent and powerful. And of course, too, as we go through things like this, have your dictionary of power open and keep adding in things that, are important. Like, look on the slide. We've got acknowledgement. For CJ already, he understands acknowledgement is in his dictionary of power. It's in there. And then we've got habit in there, right? Self-change, life change. These are all understanding, all or attention, appropriateness, lots of them in here, right? That end up in your dictionary of power. Very cool. All right. So, Sure, do me a favor and read this for me, please. Save my voice a little bit.
The RepeatBack slide?
No, just dealing with habits. Yeah, dealing with habit. This one that's
okay.
up now.
I see it. Okay. Habit is powerful and replacement requires effort and energy to deal with. Acknowledging this leverages us and prepares us for what's involved when it comes to self-change and life change. Knowing what we are doing and what we're going to be doing is most useful, as it enables appropriate focus and attention.
Yes.
Anxiety and worry are, of course, habits. Yes, there's much more to them also. Understanding that they are also habits allows us to deal with them effectively.
Yes, yes,
Yay.
yes. Very powerful. So let me do a bit of editing here. Just while I'm about it, this is, it's going to capital L leverage us. So this is a leverage. We're going to get into leverage later on. It's a very
Right.
incredible, potent self-leverage, massively wonderful tool. Massively wonderful tool.
Replacement is
Exactly.
an understatement still to say that it requires effort and energy to deal with.
Yes. Because when we replace things that have been habits, right, in your computer program, right, or your computer, you look at, you go to your task manager and you see all the little programs and things that are running on the computer. Well, for people who don't know what this is, I'll show you, right? So here we go, processes. Look, I got all the stuff that's running on my computer right now, right? What the hell?
That's
Okay,
what you're
Zoom
right.
I recognize, Chrome I recognize, okay, I don't know, all sorts of stuff going on in here, right? So I don't always know what all these things are. Some I know, some I don't, right? But my point is a lot of stuff going on in my computer right now, yes? Now, here's the point, okay. Now, you see, this tells you the CPU usage. So Chrome is taking up mostly now because while I'm using Chrome, it's the browser and Microsoft Edge. I'm running two different browsers and Zoom. You see, they're all taking up CPU space. But look at this. I've got it sorted by memory. You see, all these programs, even though they're not currently taking up computer processing power, they still take up memory, right? And in your brain, because your brain is organic, when things are in memory and you're holding them there, this is RAM, random access memory. In other words, in consciousness, in awareness, right? These things are all sitting there. They take power, right? They take some power to do with. They take energy, in other words, to hold in your computer, right? And so this is my point. Now, you want all of these programs to be good ones. Yes, you don't want them to be things that are taking your power for no good reason, like anxiety and worry. Yes. So the point that you made about replacement, sure, is that it takes energy. Why? Because you first have to spend energy to get rid of the things that you don't want.
Yes.
Right. So yeah. So replacement does take some energy because it means that you have to first, unempower those old programs, put them to bed, put them to rest. And that's not always the simplest thing because your system is sort of built around this, right? So
yes, you have to become consciously aware of it, of what's running in the background.
Exactly. So, we have to first find a way to unhook from those, and then we can bring in the replacement. So yeah, it does take a bit of energy, but it's a worthwhile energy because you are replacing something that drains your energy with something that gives you energy. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, very, very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So this is a huge, fantastic takeaway there. Fantastic. And kind of a repeat back as well, both simultaneously combined. So on this slide, any comments before we go to the next one? Sherman, Jessica, CJ, any comments?
I
Anything
do
to add?
actually.
Please.
I've associated with for myself, for better understanding is, so when it says acknowledging this leverages us and prepares us for what's involved when it comes to self change and life change.
Yeah.
Knowing what that one sentence in itself, that the acknowledgement is the initial, that is the baseline.
Yes.
That is the foundation of building everything, like knowing exactly, okay, this is what's next. This is what is and thinking all the way through and building from there. Then you have this, this masterpiece.
Yeah.
You start with the easel, you got to, know what's going on ahead of time, or even playing chess. You've got to know what's going on ahead of time.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that, okay.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. We don't have to get to a point. If we share something and we say, oh, this isn't going anywhere, I realize something. It's an awareness. It's very cool. It's very cool. Wonderful.
Oh no,
wonderful.
I just said okay because it was like really, it was a relief.
Nah, you said that's a matter. See, I'm just saying it's wonderful. You know, I mean, in other words, you already got the point. You get it. You get it. You get it. It's cool. Very cool, Jessica. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Right. You're acknowledging your own moreness of awareness in that. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Very exciting. Very exciting. I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, you know, it's practice. It's practice. It's practice. This is not about performance. This is a very big deal. People think that talking is performance. Get rid of that idea, especially when it comes to public speaking. Oh, this kills them, right? What do I got to do? How do I perform? No, it's not a performance. Talking is not a performance. It's sharing. Share your heart, share your mind. If it comes out a little bit, who cares? It's sharing. Especially here where we are at, we don't care about that. I want to hear all of that stuff because when you do that, it's magic. It's always magic when it comes out. Yes, always magic. Yeah, right? You agree?
Yes, always.
Yeah, very much. There's Lou. There's Lou. Hello, Lou. Hello, wonderful, wonderful Lou. Yes. There you go. See, Lou says, oh no, my name's CJ, says Lou. Okay. Hello, CJ. How are you doing, CJ? Very cool. Very cool. Oh, there's Lou. There's Lou. Hey, Lou. How you doing, man? How you doing? How you doing? Very cool. See, Lou says, yeah, I'm doing good. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. So yeah, it's just, you know, wonderful creatures right there. We got two wonderful creatures. Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. Very powerful, simple self-conception shift. Yes.
She's showing you her broken tail.
Exactly. Exactly. And does it matter? Does it make Lou any less? CJ?
Nope.
No, it does not. Yes. Now, I know other people around here that might have some broken tails. Does it make them any less? Jessica?
No, sorry. I muted
Yeah,
myself.
that's okay. No problem. That pause is not a problem. Again, you don't have to respond immediately. We can wait. We've got lots of patience. Sure. Does your broken tail, TALE, make you any less?
Not at all.
No. See, so Lou has a broken TAIL, and you guys have broken TALEs, right? Doesn't make any difference.
Yes, but last time I checked, broken crayons still color the same.
Is broken and what is the same?
I said last time I checked, broken crayons still color the same.
Exactly. A broken crayon still colors the same. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's just a magical thing. So part of what we are doing, we are, as you've seen already, just today, in just this one session, anybody who hasn't gone on before, what we are doing is learning to think differently. Yes. Not just think, but conceive differently. Yes.
Yes.
Sherman, you with us still? Okay, maybe he can't answer. I don't want to pressure Sherman because he said he was busy and, you know, he's listening. He may have headphones on and he's doing his rounds or something, so he can't talk. It's too cool. It's too cool. But I assume this is a yes. So this is a very big deal. Now, CJ, did you hear this? That what we are doing is we're learning to think and conceive differently. Also, later on, we're going to learn to feel differently, right? Not just feel as a reaction, but feel as a response, and then later to feel as a choice. Holy shit. Excuse me. But isn't that a big deal, right? What do you mean feel as a choice? Oh, really? Wow. Yes, really. Yes, really. That's coming. Yes. It's a very big deal. It starts with thinking differently, conceiving differently, and then it leads to all sorts of different things. But believing differently, having different expectations, different habits, right? Difference.
Right.
We celebrate difference. We're going to celebrate difference. Difference is power. Yes. We are going to learn to be different deliberately, not for just for the purpose of being obtuse and, you know, oh, well, look at me, I'm different. No, we are doing it because it's going to give us value and usefulness. Yes. If being the same gives us value and usefulness, we'll do this too. but for the most part doesn't. That just happens to be the way things are. Yeah. So we're not being different for different sake. We are being different because it's useful and valuable. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Brilliant.
I wanted to say, before you move on to something else, I just wanted to let you know, something I thought about, wrote it down at some other time when we were doing notes on this particular module, was that we talked about how habits are mindless. It's kind of like that mindless actions, it's definition of it.
Yes. Yes. They're
Well,
unawareness
right.
actions. Yes.
So, but for me, stepping into, awareness as a habit, I discovered for myself that avoiding was a strategy that I was using, and it was still allowing me to be vulnerable all the
You said
time. Even though I
avoiding?
think I was
Is that the
protecting
word you said?
myself.
Avoiding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I was using avoidance or avoiding as a strategy, and that
Yeah.
was turned into a habit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there again, we've got our things. I guess where I'm going with that was that when you were talking about learning to think differently, that's something that I'm focused on lately, is learning to think differently about what I'm avoiding, not about why, just about what I'm avoiding.
Yeah.
And then once I've discovered and understood, all right, well, this is what I'm avoiding, then it kind of makes sense to me when we go back to that question of, well, based on what? What's my truth here? What's my fact here?
Yeah.
Then I can figure out really quick that it's nothing to avoid. I can just do it.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
just my thoughts on that.
Thinking differently, perceiving
Yes.
differently, having different perspectives, conceiving differently. Man, it's a power. And one within all of our graphs. We just never thought about doing it before, right? Like Jessica said, I never really thought about it that way before. It's so powerful when we learn to think about things differently. And look at this next slide. What a wonderful, perfectly appropriate quote here. Feeling good is a habit, one we can cultivate. Yes, some people have gotten into the habit of not feeling good. It's just a habit. We can cultivate other habits. Yes, so we don't have to get stuck there. All right, so tasks and exercises are actually going to leave this for next time, right? So please do these, and we'll start with this next time. Please list your positive expectations, as many as you want. This can be regarding anything at all: yourself, community, society, abstract, self-change, health, finances, whatever. Now, I want to say, okay, I'll say what I'm going to say in a moment here. So I'm going to finish these here. What habits of expectation do you currently have, and how would you change them? Wow, this is very cool. Very cool task and exercises. Good job, Sal. List a few of your habits which are completely unconscious and unthinking. That's not as easy as it sounds, right? You have to pay attention, between now and next week. Pay attention and see, what is this, right? Because how can I know what they are if they're unconscious and unthinking, right? So you have to sort of discover them by noticing their effect on your behavior. Which of these are useful to you and bring value? Another very, very cool question, right? This is capital U, useful, yeah. No, very, very cool. All right. So what I want to say about these tasks and exercises, right? Anybody listening to this, whether it be live or in the replay, please do these tasks and exercises also. And then next week you can come in, or you don't even have to wait until next week. You can just say, yes, my what I have done on the task and exercise, my response to the task and exercise, and you can post it in the comments. Yes, it's very, very useful. So please feel free, anybody, and I would encourage you to do it. It's a very powerful. These tasks and exercises are ridiculously powerful. They just as powerful as doing the repeatbacks and the exercises and adding to a dictionary of power. Right? I mean, these are like the 4 key elements, and then there's more to it too. Like we were talking about earlier, Jessica, right? Doing a takeaway of the session, which is different to doing a takeaway of the slides, right?
Yes.
Massively powerful stuff. So doing these things, it's the doing that makes the difference. Let me repeat that. It's the doing that makes the difference. Not looking at this and reading and nodding along and say, yes, I get it. Yes, I get it. We think we get it. Yes, we do kind of get it, but it doesn't last. That realization of getting it doesn't last. It's the doing that makes it last. Right, Sher? You've been doing this for a while.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
doing that makes it stick. Yes?
Well, I was just writing that down. It's, We
Yeah.
can read this stuff and we can try and apply it in our daily life, but there's two things that I've noticed that have assisted me, which is verbalizing it for one on Zoom
Yes. Yes.
session, trying to apply it in my daily life, but then also writing,
Exactly.
the writing about it and then
It's a doing.
sharing it.
It's a doing.
Yes,
It's emphasis
doing.
in your brain. The
Yeah.
best, most potent, like writing is a doing. And if you're doing it, your brain, your inner bureaucrats are saying, oh, this must be important to show. So it emphasizes in your brain and it locks it in, right? But when we just sit there and we say, oh, wow, this is a cool meme. That's a cool slide. Yes. Okay. This is very cool. What's being said here? Oh, yeah, I get it. We think we've made it our own. We think we've changed simply through recognition and realization. Well, I got news for you out there, meme lovers. No, realizations do not change you. You have to apply them in order to get change. Without application, it's meaningless. I have to emphasize this because we feel in the moment of seeing the meme or seeing the slide, in the moment we feel like we're getting it. We feel like we know it. We feel it, but it's a false feeling, right? We have to prove to ourselves that we have it, and you prove through doing. That's where self-proof comes in, which is again going to come to this later. And it's very, very, very powerful stuff, right? So brilliant.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that. Look
why
at
I
this
brought up
wonderful,
avoidance.
perfect timing. I love the universe when it comes together. Perfect timing. So yeah.
That's why I put in avoidance, that's
Yes.
one of my habits
Yes.
that I'm working on shifting.
Yes. Yes.
Changing over, looking for something positive instead of
Yes.
avoidance.
So when is avoidance appropriate? When we are avoiding avoidance.
Oh, there you go. That's true.
Just
Very, very
a
true.
little
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Just, it's soul being silly. All right. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. The different way to spell soul. But anyway. All right. So we got to have fun, right? We got to have fun. We enjoy learning. Sherman, anything to say before we go? If you can say something. No, nothing. Okay. Prototype 32511. Anything to add before we go?
CJ, that would be you.
No.
No? Okay. Jessica, sure. Anything before we go?
I'm good.
I actually, yeah, before we go, there's just when you were talking about it's one thing to, say, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times before
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
then it takes, but then once I actually write it down
Yeah.
and put it into my own perspective, my own
Yes. Do a repeat.
thought process about it.
Yes.
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 Yeah, I could go on forever
Exactly.
with with it
Exactly.
and applying it to not just one area, not just one problem area, but to everything.
Exactly. And, the proof of this is that, I mean, I've seen 1 trillion memes by now. I mean, really. And so has everybody else, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not, it's not that there's anything wrong with them. They are really magical, potent, awesome stuff. But on their own, and I know many people who've watched those memes, and I have friends who have meme pages and meme groups, and all they do is memes all day long. They share memes. Does it really make a difference? No. But they're addicted to the memes. Does it make a difference? No. Why? Because they don't make it their own and they don't apply it. You've got to make it your own and apply it. Both. Right?
Yes,
So
because
you've
memes
got to own it and prove it to yourself. Yeah.
memes are words that can provoke something, an emotion, a thought, a feeling, but it's a fleeting thing
Exactly.
unless you put it into action.
Exactly. So we could say in a way, make a little quote out of it. Truth is useless until you make it your truth.
That's true.
Wonderful, sir. Brilliant punctuation there. Brilliant punctuation. Yeah, it's amazing. You would think, well, if it's true,
Yep.
it's true. Just knowing it's true, it's gonna make. No, I have to make it my truth. Just because it's
Mm-hmm.
a truth, it's useless until I make it my truth. That's when it becomes power. Got to make it my own. Yes, and then to prove it to yourself, because you could say to yourself, well, I believe this, I know this, but your inner bureaucrats are going, do you really? You think you know it, but let's see this. We need demonstration. You thinking you
Mhm.
know it, because how many times in the past have you thought you knew something, and when you actually went to do it, not so much, right? So we want
Yeah, I get caught
self-proof.
on that every day.
We
Every
want
day.
self-proof, and again, it's not me who needs it, it's you. You need to prove it to yourself. Once you prove to yourself, I can do this, I have this, I do understand this. Look, yeah, I can demonstrate that I can. Now, what were we talking about confidence earlier today, Jessica? That's
Yes, we were.
how we get capital C, real, actual confidence, right? It's by self-proof that we get confidence. It's an
Yes.
incredible thing. And we get to this self-confidence, self-proof via doing, via applications. Via application is one of those power A terms, capital A application. Without application, please finish for me, sir.
All meaningless.
Exactly. Without application, it's all meaningless. Exactly. 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 Please type that in chat for me there, please. Please. Very, very powerful. All right. Fantastic. Jessica, I am just thrilled that we are having such fun, such potency. Now you see what Sher and I have been enjoying in all the time that I've known Sher, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You get it now.
You know,
get it.
Jessica and Sherman or whoever else is on, I will let you know that, it doesn't come overnight.
No.
Like Sil was saying, of course, when we read needs, we're really not getting anything,
Yeah,
but we can read and go through this entire course and not get a thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and I know this. A lot of my realizations and stuff do come right at this course, right as we're, I'm talking with Sil or anybody else. However, there's a lot of stuff that I do want to reiterate and definitely put and capitalize. I have been working on, myself as well as other things in my life. Away from this, what this does for me is it creates that moreness for me. It helps create more possibilities, more choices, more.
Yes.
I got this part. So now it's understanding more of what I already know.
Yes.
Instead of
Yes.
blindly going through it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. But you shifted today. You have such a massive shift this morning in our session of your awareness of possibility. I'd say, holy moly, wow, wow, wow. And now you've shifted and it's like the whole world opened up for you. It's all exciting now. Now it's not about, oh my God, I've got problems I got to deal with. No, I've got learning and joy. I've got moreness to explore and take in and make my own. It's like, wow, the whole world opened up to become exciting. Yes, Jessica?
Yes, yes.
Right,
And
sure.
that
Isn't that what the deal is?
Yes.
It doesn't all come
biggest thing I
immediately,
wanna
but man, if I've got it's like harvesting your crop. I love all the stuff that I'm harvesting, right? But it takes time to harvest that crop. Yes, but it gives me joy to know I've got all this moreness waiting for me to harvest. Yes.
Yes, and that's something that I would my biggest I don't want to say hope, expectation was going through these courses is that I will gain more of that moreness and that I will gain a broader spectrum of so much and see more and see color and not just the black and white or the gray.
Yes.
And that's one of my my biggest goals is to do that. And making it happen now, it is time to actually make what I wanted to happen actually happen. And I'm learning that through here. And I know that it's only going to it takes I know it takes time, and I'm learning more and more on each thing.
Yes.
As I go along, and I know that's going to be the thing. I know I'm not going to be healed in one night, or better in one night.
But you can also be at the same time. It's to make the healing stick is the issue.
Yes.
That's the key, right? You can get healed overnight, but it's to make it stick. This is the key. That's why it's the doing. So yeah, you have the awareness now, you have the understanding. Now it's a matter of, that's why habit comes in so early, because we want to change the habits, right? Habits are our enemy, as it were, because they can pull us back into our old life. You can have all these profound understandings and awarenesses and knowingness, but until you make new habits out of them, the old habits may come and pull you back. Yes?
Nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, sure says, I strive to find joy in learning. This is my positive expectation. And you do. I mean, we have a blast, sir, don't we? We
Yes,
have
we
a
do.
blast. We always do. We have a blast. It's too brilliant and more. Except the other day, I kind of felt like I was giving you a hard time, and I didn't mean to. It's just the way things happen. So
No, I didn't take it as a hard time. I didn't.
I did. I did.
understood.
I did.
No, I understood it was necessary.
Yeah,
Sometimes, I mean, we,
Yeah.
we do get our heads turned around sometimes backwards.
yeah.
So
I just
It's
wanted
okay.
to. I just wanted to get it off my own conscience. I didn't mean to do that. Sometimes I might give somebody a bit of a hard time just as a challenge or whatever, but I didn't mean to do it the other day. It's just the way things happened of their own accord. I felt a bit bad, so I felt a bit bad because you're
well,
being
thank you,
awesome
but-
actually, and I was. It turned out, like yeah, but anyway, but it was you were being awesome. You really were, and you are. So I want to just appreciate that, just your moreness
you.
was really coming through. It was fantastic. But yeah, we have joy. We really have fun doing this. And I want to really emphasize this for anybody listening. Learning, life change, self-change. It's not a stressful, onerous thing. Oh, God, it's going to be painful. And no, for crikey's sake, when you get over that hurdle of facing and dealing with the awful truth, that's why we started with that. And understanding what habits are. It's why these two things, awful truth, habit, so critical. They come right in the beginning here. And of course, look what you said. You were using this word acknowledgement. You see, this is what the session, this module is called, acknowledgement of what's involved. That's the key, acknowledgement. Right? So very, very potent. All right, brilliant. I'll see you guys next week. And I'll see the two of you, all three of you before then, but still. It's magical. I love that we're doing this. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What a magical family we are. Yes. Not that I'm
Thank you.
related to any of these for people listening. I'm not, but yes, we are a spiritual family. Yes, anybody
right.
who comes on Zoom becomes part of my family. I got a very big family. I love my family. It's very cool.
Yeah, he does.
Very cool. Magical.
I don't know half of my brothers and sisters, but yeah.
Yes. They're all
On
magical.
here, there's
Say again.
something that my mom and I, or that Cher and I were, I gotta get out of that habit.
Okay, I
Something
gotta
that
say
Cher
something
and
about
I had talked about is that there are 3 generations right here on this Zoom.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
But
See, so
anyway.
prototype. You may be a prototype, but you're a Gen 3 prototype.
There you go. That's true. But I do have to say, I will say something. TJ and I both raised our eyes, great big and wide eyebrows too, when he heard and I heard her say share, and I'm just like, wait, what?
Yes. So,
Yeah,
so
it was-
but the magic of that. Yes, there's a deeper psychological shift that takes place, which
Yes,
is why I
there is.
recommended it. But there's another magic to it. It is for both you and CJ also to, habits, expectations, and also for Jessica to be mindful and attentive, because this is an intent that she set to really pay super strict attention to every single word. And we were discussing this as well, right, Sher, the other day,
Yes,
right? To be
yes.
super hyper vigilant with your actual words, what you say, what you mean, what you intend, what are the implications of what you say. So this is one mechanism that helps that, right? Because look how
Yes.
she's been catching herself. It's very cool. It's very, very cool. So we realize, in fact, holy moly, this is a habit that I'm doing unconsciously and unthinkingly. Right there, you've already answered it. List a few of your habits you are conscious and unthinking. See, in that. So there's one for you already, Jessica. But you are making an effort to change it. So there's a lot of power to this, and also to say, yes, it feels odd and weird in the beginning, but to realize that even though things feel odd and weird, you soon get used to them. We cannot be put off through changing and coming to new ways of being because it feels odd and weird in the beginning. Yes? We can't be, because otherwise, how are we going to get to new stuff if it's in the beginning? Well, it's odd and weird. Well, that's just part of newness. So we have to get past that. We have to see that this is not a big deal. Yes. I mean, really, logically, there's no reason for it, right, Cher or Jessica, to feel odd and weird.
No,
Yeah,
there
but that
is no
doesn't change
reason
how
for
you
it.
feel. So it's
No.
getting through it. And you're going to see in a week or two's time, it's no problem. It will be natural, right? So it's
But
a powerful lesson, powerful
But
lesson.
I will have to say in here, I am not prepared to have CJ call me.
Right. CJ is a different story still. Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
I'm not prepared.
It's not your time yet, CJ. This is something that you earn over time. Yes, it's not yet. So yeah, it'll come later, whenever later comes. But yeah, certainly it's a big deal to get to that point. So this is for Jessica. she is claiming it not as something that she's sort of stepping out of herself, but as it's a function of appropriateness, right, Sure?
I'm gonna have to process it. Okay.
All
I'm
right,
gonna say-
all right, all right.
I'm right
I
now
have-
processing it,
Yeah,
so you know.
Yeah. No,
I
it's
have to
very cool. It's
process
very cool. You know, it's just that shifting to say, hey, can we break our patterns?
See?
Can we break our habits? Can we step out of
Yeah.
ourselves? It's
But
very
that's an
cool. So the
expectation.
fact that it is uncomfortable is very cool and very key. So yeah, there's honest to this. Yeah.
But
Method
as I
to the
said, there's an
madness.
expectation on my end. So it's something I will definitely, I
yeah.
promise I will explore. You know,
No,
when
I
I
love
say
it,
I'm gonna
sure.
do
I
something,
love
I
it.
do.
I love it. I love
I kind of had a really quick, I kind of had a little bit of an epiphany when it comes to calling my mom Cher instead of calling her mom. So when she earlier was talking about boxing herself in, where Cher doesn't want to be just labeled as mom or just labeled as
Yes.
grandma or just so calling her by me as her daughter, calling her Cher, that is allowing her to not box herself in as much and me not putting her in a box.
Yes,
Oh.
yes, yes. I love it when a circle comes together. I love it when a circle comes together. Yes, sir.
Yes, I will accept that. I'm still chewing.
I know. I just love this. I love this. You know, when things happen like this, I hear your chewing, sure, and I love your chewing. I absolutely love your chewing. It's too beautiful. It's too beautiful. This is what makes you so magical, that you do chew, that you do chew, and you
Yes.
acknowledge that you are chewing. This is really powerful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's precious. It's precious. All right, brilliant. I'll see you guys next week. I'll see you guys.
Okay, goodbye, everybody. Have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful time. Sending
Bye-bye.
love to
Bye-bye.
Dina.
Yes, I will
Okay.
do. I will do.
Yes.
Bye-bye, prototype. Lou, we'll see you next week also. And before, you know, keep doing the takeaways, repeat backs, keep going. Right.
Yes.
Very cool. All right.
Okay.
See you all
Bye-bye,
next
guys.
time. See you all next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. So I've got to end the live and end the Zoom. Wonderful. Wonderful. End meeting for all. Bye, CJ.